Okay, last time we left off on episode 1. I acknowledge that the show is different, but this could very well be the end of it all, so let's enjoy it while we can. 5 episodes later, where does that leave us?
I'm not gonna lie, I watched episode 2 when it released, then fell off for 3, 4, and 5. Not cause of disinterest, but I had my attention elsewhere. I found the second half of episode 2 more interesting than the first. Nate has some crazy debt, I know he gets beat up later, and we finally see Jules.
Finally, it seemed like the wedding was going to be teased all season. The wedding is the end game where all the characters are gonna unite for a 2-episode finale. Guess not. The wedding itself wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it would be, and there wasn't drama amongst the characters, but in their own lives.
It might be that the episode was really good or that I stepped away from the show for a bit, but yo, I don't mind that the show itself has stepped away from its original tone. In fact, I think this episode did a good job being wondrous as it used to be, even if it's not the same. The score played a part in that aspect. Jules had the glittery eyes and Nate got beat up. I didn't think it was gonna happen that soon. Season 3 feels like it's settling into its flow now.
But what is Maddie feeling? How does Nate get out of his situation? What's gonna happen to Rue? Did the first 2 episodes have behind the scenes? Because this is the first time I actually see them, and I stayed around for the end of the other episodes. I was halfway through this episode and thought, I have nothing to say.
But then the second half saved it. Cassie moves out of Nate's and gets her own place near Lexi. The Jules storyline wasn't as captivating this episode, but I have to say, I thought we were getting a little idly for a second there. Nudity or sex doesn't bother me in a show, but nude dancer Kitty's scene had me a bit uncomfortable. Why were the guy's boys just watching him smash?
Then I was here stressing over Cassie maybe going off script. She went up to the guy's room, started doing coke. The substance was lost for debauchery and degeneracy. There's a part where Maddie starts to look around and detaches from the party, and then she's not there, and I thought, is Maddie leaving the party to screw over Cassie? Was she still going to look after her? I'm just full of questions. And Alamo was pressing Rue, and then we had the freaking robbery. Did Rue rat out Faye, or was her saying, I know this girl, basically signaling that, yeah, this is Lori's doing? I'm so invested. This is the halfway mark, and honestly, I stand by enjoying the journey of these characters. Poor Nate. I hope Lexi doesn't get fired for the whole Jules and the painting with the peni. Yo! Okay.
I don't really care for the OF storyline. Come on, the way the episode opened was saved by the theatrical dramatics of Godzilla Cassie. Hurrah, that goofiness is still sprinkled in. And you know what else I'm tired of? Big bad bosses. Alamo is yelling and intimidating every other scene now. Nate keeps getting effed up as well. I can't anymore.
Not much Jules. I hope Cassie's contract with Maddie wasn't anything crazy because she didn't even freaking read it before signing. Why is Nate only receiving $30K at a time? If this chick has 70,000 followers and her membership's like $5, that's $300,000. And if her membership is $10, that's $700,000 a month. And Nate's only getting $30,000? What the fuck is this? Unless that wasn't OF and that was Instagram.
I'm all for Maddie's girl bossing, but now tying into Alamo is such an ugh. It is clear that Cassie and Rue are the leads this season, but I fear that Cassie's shenanigans have more of a spotlight than Rue's. I just want to see Rue thrive already. Don't give me that goddamn villain sympathizing backstory spiel.
Is it just me or was this a filler episode? Cassie killed it in her audition and then the show deleted her OF. Rue's group made a copy of Lori Safe's key, and Nate is once again a Looney Tunes Roadrunner abusive toy. Alright, let's go through generals. I don't mind the music. Labyrinth is gone and I don't notice any sort of difference. My brain's muted to that. It's the least of my focus. The title has less impact than the others. Than the other seasons, but I like that it moves around based on what center frame. Go to voiceover, stop watching.
Maddie is killing it. I think other people relate to that, and her story is just a warm welcome continuation. 2 episodes left. I hope she comes out winning. I'm conflicted about Cassie. Feel like she has a consciousness deep down in there, but it's also being boner smacked by clout. And is she about to get roped into Nate's problems? And yo, I like the small interaction between them in episode 5, but could she act like he exists a little more?
She had some whimsy again. She stood up to her laptop to delete her account. It's the little things, you know. Lexi. Homegirl is struggling and busting her ass while her sister's making a fortune and landed a role on a TV show. Does Cassie send her money? I get that Lexi having more of a focal point wouldn't be as interesting as the other shenanigans that are going on, but she once again remains the most sane of them all, and we need that.
Jules, you want Rue, but Rue is too much of a puss for you to jeopardize anything. I wish her story served more than a side quest for Rue's screen time, but she is pretty much removed from the whole cast's daily lives. Holed up in her penthouse, painting. Who am I missing? Oh, Nate, the punching bag. Enough of the torture. He had the 30K in his PayPal. Please, make it stop. I love how the house was a mess when he was on the phone with Cassie. What else is he to do in his exuberant wallowing of despair? I applaud his attempts to try to handle his situation, but yikes, I don't see a way out.
He gave those flowers quite the beating. And Rue. Zendaya still shines as this character, but we traded off one slumlord for another. And my one hope was that character relations were gonna be the focus of this season. But we have 2 slumlord sagas and Cassie's fame crash out. Episodes 3 with the wedding and 4 with the robbery were really good. Episode 5 started kind of rocky with Cassie creating content. And 6, well, I made it the shortest section of this video.
I can understand people's frustration with the show so far. Saw a story the other day from someone I follow who wrote a lot about how Rue needs to be the focus of the show and that Cassie gets too much of a spotlight.
I agree to an extent. Cassie's life does rope in Maddie and Lexi, and while the sexual stuff doesn't ick me out, it does take over the runtime of an episode where other things can be explored.
Especially in a season where there are some pretty dire things going on. This is why Sam Levinson is criticized, but I, personally, don't care for that conversation. I still like Euphoria, and I watch it with such captivity and attention that not many shows can match for me. Like, I love Bridgerton, but I'm not as gamer-leaned for it.
Overall, pretty solid so far in my opinion, because while there have been lows, there have been highs as well. We only have 2 episodes left, but the finale is like an hour and a half, so we'll call it 3 episodes of story. That finale is about to be like a short movie. Put that shit in theaters. This light just set off, so love what you like, protect your energy, and I swear, if they drag Cassie into Nate's mafia, slumlord, crime abuse, Looney Tunes bullshit,